The story begins in the late 15th century when European explorers first set foot on the Ivory Coast. However, it wasn't until the mid-19th century that the French began to establish a firm foothold on Ivorian soil. The lure of untapped natural resources, coupled with the desire for territorial expansion, propelled the French towards colonial domination. By the late 19th century, the French had seized control of vast swaths of the Ivory Coast. They did so by systematically undermining the local chieftains, often resorting to violence and coercion. The Ivorian people, the rightful owners of the land, found themselves oppressed and marginalized in their own homeland. The French didn't just stop at land acquisition. They also seized control of the Ivory Coast's abundant natural resources. The fertile Ivorian soil was exploited for the cultivation of coffee, cocoa, and palm oil, which were shipped off to feed the growing industries in France. The Ivorians, who had once thrived on the bounties of their land, were now reduced to cheap labor in their own backyards. However, the spirit of resistance was never extinguished. The 20th century saw a surge in nationalistic fervor among the Ivorians. The fight for freedom was on. Amidst this rising tide of nationalism, the French were forced to make concessions. In 1958, the Ivory Coast was granted the status of an autonomous republic within the French community. The journey towards independence, however, was far from smooth. The struggle between the Ivorians and the French was marked by political unrest, economic instability, and social upheaval. Despite these challenges, the Ivory Coast emerged as an independent nation on August 7, 1960. The legacy of French colonization, however, continues to cast a long shadow over the Ivory Coast. The political, economic, and social structures in place today are deeply rooted in the colonial past. French remains the official language, and the French legal system still influences Ivorian law. The economic dependency on agricultural exports, a relic of the colonial era, continues to shape the Ivorian economy. Yet the Ivory Coast has come a long way since its colonial past. It has made strides towards economic diversification, political stability, and social progress. The resilience and spirit of the Ivorian people have ensured that, despite the trials and tribulations of history, the Ivory Coast continues to forge its own path on the world stage. So, the next time you sip on a cup of Ivorian coffee or savor a piece of Ivorian chocolate, remember the rich and complex history that has shaped this remarkable nation. The tale of the Ivory Coast is a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity and the enduring quest for freedom and sovereignty. It is a story that deserves to be remembered, retold, and celebrated.